Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. We are live from the basement. Salute to y'all. Hope all is truly well with y'all on this Saturday. I am your host with the most, JB2 Reactions, bringing y'all this content on this Saturday morning. Jason Whitlock, Cam Newton, and old Busty Bus, Kwame Brown, and others are giving Stephen A. Smith the smoke. Willie, what's the word? What's the word? What's the word, man? Hey, look, I was looking for other beats to play, and when I ran into that, I say, yeah, that's smooth right there. You feel what I'm saying? That's smooth, you know. But yeah, man, and then, Jason Whitlock joins Kwame Brown panel yesterday, and they most definitely had to talk about Stephen A., Cam Newton. I mean, it's a nice little whirlwind of mess that's going on with that. So we about to dive right into it. Salute to the chat again, once again. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Please, on your way in, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more of this type of content. Marlo, what's the word, man? Hey, good morning, G Mama Body. How you doing? Yeah, we about to get into this content. Let me get the formalities up out the way. Fair use allows me to critique videos and give commentary and my reaction without any malice intent. This is really all for entertainment purposes only, and to, basically hear what this is all about with Stephen A. Smith, Cam Newton. For what I hear, Jason Whitlock was trying to tell Cam Newton to turn his goofy down, or else, you're going to be replaced. And, even they threw Shannon Sharp name up in it. Man, it's a whole whirlwind of a little some of everything, right? So like I said, we about to unpack all this right now, all right? So, all right, let's see. All right, shout out to Self-Talk. We're going to start off with Self-Talk News. Shout out to him for actually breaking this really 3 days ago when it first began. All right, let's get it, y'all.
Man. So a sucker like Stephen A. Smith and Cam Newton might have a possible beef brewing up, man, because Cam Newton just fired back at Stephen A. Smith because Cam Newton didn't like the way Stephen A. Smith threw him under the bus like that. Stephen A. Smith went live on his podcast show, Straight Shooter with Stephen A. Smith.
What's happening,
and he
man?
had called out Cam Newton for his Jason Whitlock interview. If you guys missed it, I did a full video covering everything, but let me show you guys a quick clip of what Stephen A. Smith said, calling out Cam Newton. Let's check out this clip right here.
I'm 58 years old in the business that you're in, and it's at the same time that you're in, smoking your smoking you. Cam Newton, you gonna interview somebody and bring me up? Don't just sit there and let them talk. Ask questions. Let them prove it. I'm a fraud? How?
Look, and I got to be respectful. You work with Stephen A., and so
this has
I don't want to go.
Listen. Look, you said you gonna keep it in a buck.
A thousand.
Keep it 1,000 now. At the end of the day, I'm cordial with Stephen A. Smith, just like I'm cordial with anybody else.
Is it up
Look,
with
man,
you and Stephen A?
I've done the homework on Stephen A. He's fraudulent. He's lying about his college basketball career. He's admitted he's lying about his college basketball career. If I sat in the media space for 20 years telling everybody I played for Big House Gaines and I got a full ride scholarship after knocking down 17 straight three-pointers in a scrimmage.
So wait, this all started because Jason Whitlock went on the 4th and 1 with Cam Newton? Boy, hey, Jason Whitlock been looking to get back into the spotlight either way. I see you, Jason Whitlock. I see you trying to get your way back in. I see you.
On a Sunday, when they played a game on Saturday and they hosted a scrimmage on Sunday, and I knocked down 17 straight three-pointers, and they gave me a scholarship on the spot. Winston-Salem State teammates, it's all a lie.
You gonna interview somebody and bring me up? Don't just sit there and let them talk shit.
Oh.
Ask questions. Let them prove it. I'm a fraud? How? What facts do you have? I'm sitting there doing an interview with Glenn Bessinger the other day, and I talked about how growing up as a teenager, I saw a few people get murdered. Not like literally, oh, I mean, you hear gunshots, oh shit, you turn around and somebody's gone. I'm lying about that according to Jason Whitlock, like he was in Hollis, Queens, New York 40 plus years ago. How would he know? I'm a fraud, and do you believe this or that? I'm a fraud. How do you know? I didn't write my own book. How do you know? If you're going to bring me up and you're somebody that's in my inner circle and you talk to me, grill them. Don't just let them talk smack.
So Cam Newton caught wind of the clip, and Cam Newton went to his podcast and he had fired back at everybody, responded back to the backlash on why he had interviewed Jason Whitlock, because after Stephen A. Smith responded, everybody started calling out Cam Newton. Even Ryan Clark even chimed in on it. But I won't show the Ryan Clark clip, but I'm just letting you guys know that Ryan Clark did call out Cam Newton and a lot of other people, right? So this is what Cam Newton said, firing back at Stephen A. Smith, man. And if you can, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That really does help support my YouTube channel, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to my point,
What up, Doug?
why, Cam, did you allow Jason to come on and have so much strong opinion about Stephen A? Why? Is because it happened to Carmelo when Stephen A went and talked about LeBron.
That is true.
You cannot allow people to come on your platform and you control how it goes. You only can allow them to speak their truth, how they know their truth to be. And if you don't know, you can respectfully say, hey, I don't know if this is true or not. So when Stephen A says you didn't hammer down on the question, I didn't know that it was a lie.
Yeah.
I'm going off of what he's saying.
Yeah. I know him as a person.
I didn't know. Let me say it like this. I didn't know it was a lie.
Now, see, in these type of situations, not saying that Stephen A will do it, but like if he couldn't prove what he actually saying, he's saying that on a bigger platform such as Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton, you can actually be held liable, though. I mean, if he wanted to really press the issue. Because do I actually kind of, to a certain degree, do I get what Stephen A. Smith is saying? He like, yeah, he didn't give a damn about him talking shit. Hey, Mrs. Baker, how you doing? Happy Saturday. No, I don't think Stephen A. gave a damn about him talking a little crazy or whatever. It's just, as you being a host, push back on the things that he was actually saying. And I mean, that on that part alone, I don't see where it couldn't have been a little bit of pushback. I ain't saying pushback on everything he was talking about, but just give a little pushback. Because in a way, I see how Stephen A. looking at like, damn, you brought that man on your platform to slander and defame my name without proof, and you don't give no pushback on that sense of it. Yeah, I get it.
And I didn't know if it was the truth of what you've known, but you allow people to speak their piece, not controlling what they say.
And the biggest thing that you can do now is, and then Stephen A. said it, is for him to come on the show It's for him to talk more about this discussion. I think the biggest thing, though, that you had two different types of comments. On social media, they seen it. Cam, why would you do this? XYZ. First of all, it's not Cam's fault that he was on here. Obviously, it's more my fault, I guess. But also when people watch the full show, they say, you know what? We needed this conversation. We don't get enough of these two different of opinions. We love this type of interview because we both were allowed, or everybody on the platform or in the interview were allowed to say their piece. And let's not miss Mr. Mark too here. He said something about Stephen A, but first he started with you. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh, he just got up here to talk junk about Stephen A. His original plan was to get up here and no, Jason, what's your beef with me?
Correct.
What's your smoke with me? What's your thoughts on me? So I can.
What our plan was, or my plan, let me not bring you into it. My plan was always this. Jason, you speak about my fashion decisions.
Correct.
And me wearing.
Oh, so this was all based on just to get an understanding from Jason Whitlock about the things that he used to say. Oh, okay. All right. But see, where it gets confusing that is then Stephen A name got thrown clean up in there for some odd reason. So I don't know. That's kind of being all over the place in my opinion, though, Cam, because if that's the case, then you the host, you could have stopped any type of conversation that has something to do with Stephen A. If I'm being honest, right? Because again, the premise of Jason Whitlock going on to your show was for you to, in your way, confront him about the things that he was saying about you that was not so much in your favor, right? But then that means that you the one is supposed to make sure that the conversation stays on point to what it's all about. Marlo say Cam the football version of Dwight. God damn.
And these crazy hats. But brother, you were on TV, right? Mm-hmm. With hats on.
Yeah.
They weren't flies, these.
They weren't, but you were trying.
That's opinionated.
Yeah, facts.
You wore hat. You took fashion serious. You were on TV, bro.
Yeah.
You're responsible for how your image is.
Yeah.
So
trust no one, Douglas. I don't want to think that Cam was that naive to think that Stephen A really had his back. Bro, that's probably way more cutthroat than it is. It's cutthroat for real. They put on the exterior like, hey, I want them to win. No, I don't hate them. Yes, the fuck they do. They just can't let the world know. You feel what I'm saying? But shit, Stephen A will cut Cam Newton's throat within a heartbeat. At least that's my opinion.
So at one point, you were outside the box with your presentation, but don't castrate me.
No.
Because now you see, man, Cam puts more attention on his outfits or his fashion than football. That's not true.
That's not true.
And you can't say certain things if they are not true, right?
Yeah.
So as we keep going.
Yes. And one thing about both of them, before we even move on to these next two, one thing I can respect is that they both, Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock, have strong opinions, and they will live and die by their own opinions, whether you agree or disagree with them.
Yeah,
and that's respect.
And what I wanted to say to bring closure to this, you cannot control who saying what. You can't control it. Everybody has a platform now, and I love that because you can control your own narrative.
Yeah.
What you, the consumer or the viewer, can control if you give them the view, if you give them the audience. Everybody at one particular point, dare I say, was early in the game, but just having a platform that people listen to, everybody got all these platforms and these podcasts nowadays. It's going to double.
Yeah.
Because if you do the market research of the amount of money that Prime and Amazon is Prime, Netflix and HBO is spending on content, it's alarming. And you too should get into content.
So as we can see, guys, Cam Newton was like, yo, I can't be controlled. You can't control me. What about when you sat down with Carmelo Anthony, you had that interview over there with those guys, and Carmelo Anthony let you express how you felt about LeBron. And we know Melo and LeBron have a great relationship. We know LeBron James even saved Carmelo Anthony's life at one point in time. They allowed you to speak, and you told your truth, and you got to say how you felt. So how come I can't do that with my guests because you have a beef with Jason Whitlock? Well, I'm not that guy. And this is Cam Newton letting Stephen A. Smith know, I'm not going to be controlled. You're not going to control if I have somebody come up here and they want to talk about you. It's my content. This is my work. This is my platform. This is my...
But then you got to still be aware of the things that your guest says on your show, because that could put your channel at risk. You're right. You do have every right to allow it to go down the way you want to, right? So let me be clear. But the reason why Stephen A. Smith even said give some pushback is because the comments that Jason Whitlock laid out there, unless he's able to show you proof behind what he's saying about Stephen A., that's where it's the problem at. Again, no matter how much, if you love him or hate Stephen A. Smith, he actually was giving Cam just a little bit of game. I'm not trying to blow it up. I don't think it really needs to get blown up a certain way that way. But see, when you got a lot of people trying to roll out with it and they pick sides. So, matter of fact, it's another video. Hold on. I believe it's another video. Okay, right now this is the video right here. This is the video right here, because I was looking at this. Hold on. So now here's the thing, even with this right here, right? Now I guess Stephen A. gets revenge, and he has Anton Daniels on his show. Go figure. And again, shout out to Self Talk. Self Talk be on top of it. He be on top of it for real. All right. Now this is, and again, shout out to Self Talk for the content. He laid this out 7 hours ago. Stephen A. gets revenge on Cam Newton and Corey Holcomb and interviews Anton Daniels. Lord Jesus Christ. Fair use. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's see how this is going to go.
Here's what I want to do, because I respect where you're coming from. Even when you get on me, I'm going like this. Well, damn, he got a good point. He got a good point. It's no big, it's all love, brother. I'm good with it. Let me ask you this question. How would you describe yourself, particularly in this day and age? Are you a conservative, or are you just a YouTuber? Are you a podcast? What would you say? What do you want the world to know you believe you are?
I wouldn't define myself as a conservative first. I would define myself as a saint first.
A saint?
A saint, right? And it's a difference between a Christian and a saint. A saint is a person that believes every word in the word, right? We don't differentiate. We don't pick and choose which part of the Bible we believe. Even if I'm not perfect or I'm not doing everything right, I define myself by my belief in God. That's first, above all. And then everything else comes after that, right? So I am conservative, which I used to be Democrat. I'm not going to say liberal, but I am a Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. I've been married since I was 22 years old. So I've been married for the better part of 22 years. I'm a father. And then more importantly, I'm a bag chaser. So I'm always going to do the thing that adds value into people's lives, and I expect to be fairly compensated as a result of it.
Okay, so we got to talk about Stephen A. Smith getting his revenge at Corey Holcomb. And this is Stephen A. Smith's way of trolling Corey Holcomb. This was like his big FU moment to slap Corey Holcomb in the face. And the reason why I say that is because we all know the situation that happened between Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels.
You do? Let me tell you what you do.
Nah,
See, ain't
homie,
nobody
let me tell you something, homie. I don't do no fucking shit.
We can go out back right now. We can go out back right now. I'm with it.
I bet you won't say that.
Now, we all know that happened live on the Corey Holcomb 5150 show, right? And then, you know, they continue to trade shots for about a month straight, man, going back and forth. The beef got heated to the point where, you know, families was getting involved. Corey Holcomb mentioning Anton Daniels' daughter and wife, and Anton Daniels responded back to that. Now it's time for me to lawyer up.
At this point, I've been advised not to say anything else about it. So that's all I've been authorized to say.
And yeah, man, you know, the situation got real tricky over there, man, with Anton.
Hey, Cooking with Foxy, happy Saturday. Hope all is well with you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Hey, this right here is a big ball of mess. And yes, I do agree. Stephen A. Self-Talk is trolling Corey Holcomb. Yeah, by him even interviewing Anton Daniels, not saying that, you know, I'm not going to disrespect the man and say he's not worthy of even being interviewed by Stephen A. But like, excuse me, that ain't come out of nowhere. Even I understand that. Yeah, Stephen A. be trolling. He with the, man, Stephen A. don't fool me with all that good talk that he be doing. Stephen A. is with the fuck shit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, in the dough. All that proper talk and the etiquettes that he showed, please. You said Stephen interview with him was actually real good. Okay, well, I can most definitely check that interview on now for sure.
Daniels and Corey Holcomb. So the reason why I say Stephen A. Smith is trolling Corey Holcomb and got his big FU moment is because out of the blue, guys, we see that Stephen A. Smith interviewed Anton Daniels. Everybody was asking, like, why is Stephen A. Smith interviewing Anton Daniels? It doesn't make sense. What is going on here, right? And to me knowing the history between Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, this was Stephen A. Smith's way to troll Corey Holcomb, because we all know Stephen A. Smith has been on this rampage of just clapping back at everybody that has criticized him. We all know Corey Holcomb has been a strong critic of Stephen A. Smith over the past couple of years on his podcast.
I want America to know this about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has a very unique job. He is the voice of the racist corporate world at ESPN. They pay him well to say and speak in the racist voice. That's why he laughs at us.
What up with it?
Nothing happens to Stephen A. Smith when he disrespects black people. I don't think there's never been a time in history where a man can say so much negative things about black people and take up for people like Jerry Jones, and there is no repercussions for what he do. We need you to talk about Kyrie. We need you to take up for Jerry Jones. He was young at the time. Okay, boss, I'm going to go say something good. Don't worry about it. I'm going to put it together. And he went on there and he took up for Jerry Jones.
I even just did a video how Corey Holcomb sat alongside Cam Newton and called Stephen A. Smith a puppet, right?
In this world, like if you tune in to ESPN, for example, I just don't believe Stephen A. Smith is going to say nothing in reality. He has to say what will make his boss happy. This is real, and I can't smile it off no more. If you stand up for what's right, you are not part of the programming of television in most situations. So what I'm saying is, Brother Cam, when you talk about things, like I said something about abortion earlier.
Yes, sir.
And I said some things about the Bible earlier. Trust me when I tell you there's beauty in the dark. The stuff that people think you're not supposed to say, you really, listen, you are supposed to say certain things, because if you don't talk about it, the people will be programmed into thinking it's wrong to talk about it. There's nothing wrong talking.
I disagree. I disagree with that, Corey. Just because you don't talk about it, that doesn't mean that you still don't have a thought in your mind about the situation. Hell, it just ain't worth talking about. I think we all, if we're going to be honest, we all have been in situations where you see things on the internet, and yeah, you see it and you have a thought of your mind about it, but you don't necessarily have to speak words or type about it. But that still don't negate the fact that you still got a thought of your mind about what you saw and what you heard. But do that means that you always got to give out a response to what you see and what you hear, or you got to talk about it? No. Trust me, it's a lot of things that probably do need to get talked about, and I overlook it because in hindsight, I understand one thing. We all in life bear our own cross. I'm not here like on just being real, right? I'm not here to worry about on how you bear your own cross. Even if you put whatever that's on your cross that you have to bear, if you put it on the internet, it is going to be a lot of things that I'm just not going to touch, because I'm not here to get personal, right? That's not my premise. Be funny. Okay, tell jokes on one another. That's one thing. But like, to sit up here and be trying to dissect someone's personal life that way and act like I really give a fuck, then put like this, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm just as phony as a lot of people that y'all will call out for the bullshit that they do on the internet. I can't be phony. That's me. No, my energy will not be going to being phony. No, I'm gonna be absolutely real. Even if you don't like my truth, or excuse me, like the way I see things, that's cool. But I stand on what I say.
About my interpretation of the Bible. There's nothing wrong talking about aborting babies. There's nothing wrong talking about it. It's just you're programmed to think, oh, he said that. I didn't do anything wrong. I just talk about it. And there's a lot of people who want to hear about it. And you want me to tell you how I know that's true? Because I'm able to eat without being on any of those major media platforms that are out there. A lot of people want to hear about it. More people should hear about it. They should hear the point of view from people who have the courage to stay in the dark without the bank account that comes with working for those platforms, because those platforms, you can make a decent amount of money, as Stephen A. brags about all the time. He rich, but he broke. You rich, but you broke. Let me tell you why, brother. Because you know most of the stuff you say is what your boss wants you to say. They used to have a difficult way of getting that out there with certain reporters.
Corey, let's go here with it, right? You know the only difference between you and Stephen A. is that Stephen A. works for an actual company, bigger company than you, right? You have more leeway because you don't indirectly work for anyone, right? But you actually do work for someone. And I'm going to tell you why. You got sponsors on your channel, right? You got people that will sponsor your show. Your 5150 show, you have sponsors. I'm not saying that you don't work independently on your own, but you go out for gigs. So when you go out for gigs, Corey Holcomb, and you do a show, even though you're doing it for self, you're looking for work, sir. That means that the owner of the establishment has to go ahead and agree for you to come to their establishment and perform and do comedy. So that means, yes, you are still working for someone. Without your talent of being a comedian and doing shows, then you're not able to get work. And in order for you to get work, your name has to be able to stand on something. You actually have to be funny. So even though you are an independent contractor, technically to me, comedians are independent contractors. All right? Let's get that part up out the way. They to the highest bidder. Hey, NC Lady B1. What up with it, Russell? I mean, anybody can. Hey, Tanya. Red hair, don't care. Shout out to Tanya. Red hair, don't care. Hey, George, salute to you, man. Happy Saturday, bro. Hope all is well, man. These actors, entertainers, they are independent contractors. Let's just be honest, ladies and gentlemen. And in order for you to be able to get work, another company has to pick you up in order for you to get work. So ergo, even though you are an independent contractor, you are still working for someone in order to make monetary income off of the product that you is offering that client.
But when they got us saying the dirt, when they got us talking about each other, this is how they get away with it. And if you ask me, Stephen A. leads the charge of us talking about us. That's just my opinion.
And that interview was like a year ago, on top of the other clips that I want to show that Corey Holcomb has said about Stephen A. Smith over the years.
I would have been one of them guests that he have on there. I would have been one of them guests he have on there. But I speak my mind when he do fuck shit. So of course he distanced himself from me. And when he saw me in public, Corey, all that like that, what the shit when motherfuckers talk about I was scared? Nigga, I ain't never scared, man. I'm smart. You think if I saw Stephen A. Smith and we was somewhere it was just me and him, do you think Stephen A. Smith would have the same energy? No. Oh, I'll be like, look, man, that whole ass you do to make the motherfucking people look bad is foul. Stephen A. Smith played a game because he had niggas with him. I had niggas with me. He was bold enough to pull it and act like it's all good. I go with the game in some situations because motherfucking gangsters don't show his hand. Emotional niggas be ready to fight everywhere.
I'm pretty sure if Stephen A. Smith would have reached out to Corey Holcomb and got the interview with Corey Holcomb and just said like, yo, let's talk things out. We obviously clearly have a lot of different views on certain subjects. You've been a very harsh critic of mine. Let's kind of nip this in the bud. I want to hear what you got to say about me, and we can go back and forth and confront each other if need be, right? But no, you allow Anton Daniels to have that seat. And I feel like just the timing of it is kind of like a little troll to Corey Holcomb, knowing that, you know, Anton Daniels or Corey Holcomb had this big explosive beef that everybody was talking about for a couple of months, man. So I feel like this was Stephen A. Smith little troll move, have his little FU moment to Corey Holcomb.
All right. Now, we going to go over that video. Ladies and gentlemen. About take a brief intermission. I'll be right back. Take a brief intermission. All right. We going to go over that video after I come back. All right, y'all, I'm back. I swear this is a smooth beat right here. That's a smooth beat right there. I ain't gonna even hold y'all. I'd have fell for that beat right there. All right, now the video we about to go over now is the interview with Stephen A. Smith gave a full interview to Anton Daniels. Fair use. This is for entertainment purposes only and to give commentary, in my opinion, without any malice intent. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Fair use, fair use. Okay, I want to get to the meat and potatoes of all that. All right.
Man, how's everything?
What's going on, Mr. Smith? How you doing?
Man, please, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. I've been looking forward to talking to you or whatever. First of all, here's what I want to do, because I respect where you're coming from. Even when you get on me, I'm going like this. Well, damn, he got a good point. He got a good point. It's no big, it's all love, brother. I'm good with it. Let me ask you this question. How would you describe yourself, particularly in this day and age? Are you a conservative? Or are you just a YouTuber? Are you a podcast? What would you say? What do you want the world to know you believe you are?
I wouldn't define myself as a conservative first. I would define myself as a saint first.
A saint?
I'm a saint, right? And it's a difference between a Christian and a saint. A saint is a person that believes every word in the word, right? We don't differentiate. We don't pick and choose which part of the Bible we believe. Even if I'm not perfect or I'm not doing everything right, I define myself by my belief in God. That's first, above all. And then everything else comes after that, right? So I am conservative, which I used to be Democrat. I'm not going to say liberal, but I am a Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. I've been married since I was 22 years old. So I've been married for the better part of 22 years. I'm a father. And then more importantly, I'm a bag chaser. So I'm always going to do the thing that adds value into people's lives, and I expect to be fairly compensated as a result of it.
You know, when you decided to support Trump in 2024, what was it about the MAGA movement that made you support it? Was it the fact that you are, as you described, or was there something different transpiring in 2024 that you saw compelled you to gravitate towards that?
Well, the first thing is I felt like the election was stolen from him in 2020. There's no way that anybody can convince me that Joe Biden is the most popular president of all time and he got over 81 million votes. I'm not going for it. The second thing is that I start to take a deeper look at my own life, right? Because especially as Black people in the community, we taught to automatically vote Democrat regardless because we Black, right?
Yeah.
But when I started to deep dive into the things that Democrats stood for, it wasn't the fact that Republicans or Trump or MAGA first got my attention. The first thing that got my attention is the things that I didn't align with the party that I had been voting for based off of what my family told me to do, right? I don't believe in men and women's bathrooms. I don't believe in, a lot of the stuff, my dollars going to the federal government and letting them manage my money more than I can. I believe in smaller government. I believe in spirituality. I believe in a lot of the things. And so when I started to figure out, what are we doing? Why am I voting this way? I started to explore, what about Trump didn't I like? And I realized that it was more propaganda that was fed to me and that, he was supposedly be racist and all of this stuff.
Anton Daniels, even though I'm not into politics like that, bro, I found it all to be just a big facade, right? You ain't sound mind can never change my opinion about Trump. Just because Trump talks to a couple of Black people and he rides with them or whatever the case may be, that's the propaganda that he wants everybody to see, because then he can sit up here and reference going back to helping Black people. Oh, how can I be racist when I sat up here and I helped this Black person or I helped that Black person? Whole time, Trump don't give a damn about helping a couple of Black folks. He don't care. It's all about the perception of what he needs the people to buy into. So yes, do a lot of us can see right through the bullshit? Yes. A lot of us can. But that still don't negate the fact of certain things that Trump has said up out of his mouth that hasn't been all favorable with the black people. You can't ignore that.
And then I started to evaluate every other president that came before him. And I realized that he's just a quote unquote straight shooter, right? I mean, he just tells it like it is, regardless of whether you agree with him or not. And most of the things that he said, I aligned with.
You know, one of the things I want to push back on you on this notion about the 2020 election from this perspective. I believe that the election was legit, but not for the reasons one would think. I totally agree with you. I don't believe anywhere in hell 81 million people wanted Joe Biden to be president. But I do believe 81 million people wanted anybody but Donald Trump. So because of that, it makes it because of that, it made it believable in terms of chaos, how much noise was being made. You know how people were like, you had people celebrating in the streets like, oh my God, we're finally free. You saw how exaggerative and how extra folks were when Trump was put out of office. So I'm saying that to me was emblematic of a large portion of America saying we wanted a break from all of that noise. That's why I believe the election was legitimate.
But okay, Stephen A. So let me push back at you a little bit.
Sure.
Why are Democrats so against voter ID?
Well, hold on. We ain't got to argue. Me and you align with that. It don't make no. I'm not supporting. Listen, you got to have an ID for everything. They ain't right. I'm with you with that. I mean, I do think it was ridiculous, but I also pay attention to Senator.
Salute to NC Lady B1 for being a member of Team Blaze really longer than that month. But she has always been rocking and rolling with old JB2 reactions. So shout out to NC Lady B1 for continuing her support for Team Blaze over here. Salute to you. Salute to you, NC Lady B1. Thank you. Thank you.
Fetterman, who's been supported for the most part of the Republicans. When Fetterman said, quote, he said certain things about the SAFE Act are a bit extra. Yeah, you essentially got to have a passport, and it is more difficult to get ID, under these restrictions that they're putting out there than it was before. So I do believe that, but that doesn't mean that both sides can't come together and resolve that in a damn day. And for the Democrats to act like no ID should be required or whatever, like California and some of the stuff I learned about them and what they're doing under Gavin Newsom, that is utterly ridiculous. So you and I we ain't far off on that.
But that tells me, though, that they're fighting for it for a reason. And I don't believe it's because they really believe that people are being disenfranchised at the polls. I believe that they're fighting for it because they truly believe that it's going to affect whether or not they get elected and future elections. And I believe that the Democrats, their whole strategy, because as people get older and wiser, this is not even my opinion, this is a fact. Most people evolve to become more conservative, and then they sometimes, more often than not, deflect over and to become a Republican, right? When you're younger, that's really a Democrat's game is being, liberal, right? Because you don't know any better. But as people get older and wiser, they never defect from the Republican Party over to the Democrat Party. It's usually the other way around, right? So what they have to do is they have to find new voters and new people that support them. And I believe that the civil rights movement was hijacked by feminism. Feminism ultimately was hijacked by the LGBTQ movement, which Obama ushered in, and he solidified that. I believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion was ultimately the thing that they really leaned on in order to make sure that they had people in the voter rolls that not only identified as Black, not only identified as Latino, not only identified based off of their sexuality, but they needed a whole new voter class. And I think that immigrants was definitely the play. And that's why they're fighting so hard against voter ID.
But I don't disagree with most of that. What I'm saying is we can point to things that the Republicans do, the conservatives do, to position themselves for the same thing. For example, when you're redistricting in Texas, for example, and other places, you're doing that because you want to position yourself to get most votes.
Absolutely.
This is politics.
Absolutely.
So in other words, we can't hate on one side for coming up with a mechanism, you understand, to curry more votes in your favor.
We have to, Stephen A. And the reason that we have to
man, what's the word?
Because there's one thing to, you said it yourself. I can't even jump on an airplane unless they identify who I am. I can't get a place to stay. I can't get a car. I can't get anything. but I can determine who it is that makes the laws that ultimately govern us. Like if that isn't the thing that we need to protect more than anything else in our culture, in our society, I don't know what is. So we have to be vigilant to make sure that every vote is valid and every vote is counted. And we can't just let, mail-in ballots or people being able to, I say gaslight us. And I believe in that, this election is free and fair when it's not. And I don't believe that that's what happened in 2020.
Lovey. Shout out to Lovey Spa for becoming a member of Team Blaze. Appreciate you, my Lovey.
Well, let me tell you this too. Let me tell you, because you left out something that's very, very important, Anton. When you in New York City and you need an ID to shovel snow, but you fight. I mean, you talk about telling on yourself. I mean,
and Lovey, I didn't see it till this morning, but appreciate that slap on the neck. I promise you, I didn't see it until this morning, Lovey. I looked up. I like, oh shit, damn, Lovey had hit me on the side of the damn neck, and I ain't even know. It is what it is. Bullshit. And half the time they get that wrong. I was on a no flight list to a state I never been. Damn, it is what it is. How the hell you get on a no fly list to a state that you ain't never been? What? Look, it is what it is. Is this something you ain't telling us? Hey, it is what it is. Let me find out you got a body cam footage on now here now, and you done went to the airport and acted a goddamn fool. Boy, don't let me find that on now. Wait midnight is what it is. How you get put on a no-fly list to a state you ain't never been to though? See, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird, bro. That is weird. I've never heard of nothing like that. Like, damn. If you did something to be put on a no-fly zone, then no-fly list, then okay, whatever. But damn, you ain't never even been to the state and they put you on a, man, that's the weirdest shit to me in the world, bro.
Mom Donnie and the Democrats, it just went out the window. You fighting for the safe act not to exist, but in the same breath, you require an ID to shovel damn snow. That argument went out the window for them. There's no question.
I don't understand. I know you were born and raised in Queens. I know your roots is definitely New York. I know you a Knicks fan, and it breaks my heart to see what the Pistons are going to do to the Knicks. However,
I thought I liked you, bro. You got to bring up the Pistons. You got to do that to me, bro. You got to do that. All right, go ahead, man.
However, I have to say that you must be disappointed in what is happening in New York. And I'm not even talking about with Kathy Hochul. I'm not just talking about with Zoran Mamdani. I'm talking about city council. I'm talking about Eric Adams. Everything that has transpired over the last 5 years in New York has ultimately led to you guys electing somebody that hasn't even been born inside of the United States of America, and y'all married to them. So it bothers me. It bothers me that this country, is going the way that it's going.
You use the word disappointed. Nah, bro, I'm scared. I think New York is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I'm scared as hell. I already moved out the state, bro. I already bought a house in Florida. I ain't gonna lie to you. I already bought a house in Florida. I'm like, hell with this. This is an absolute mess. So you have your points. I'm just saying that you're making points about the Democratic Party.
Well, hello, Yeller. Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Hope all is truly well. Yeah, Yeller, Stephen A. Smith is a hot topic right now. You got a lot of people going around, got smoke for him. You got Kwame Brown that got smoked. Jason Whitlock forever got smoked for Stephen A. Now Cam got smoked Man, yes, Yeller. All is truly well on my end over here. You know, I'm rocking and rolling on over here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure to hit that like button if y'all picking up what old JB2 Reactions is putting down with this live stream. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more of this type of content, reactions, and basically this just me giving my opinion about what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I know my opinion ain't going to change the world or anything like that, but I do have the right to speak on it and report on it and give my point of view and get the hell on. Oh, okay. You taking the class. Okay. Damn, Yella. Yella is the hardest working, one of the hardest working women that I know. And I know a lot of hard working women, but god damn, going to school, going to work, taking care of the household with the kids. I mean, for real, look, you can't deny that. You can't deny that. And I'm always going to salute anyone that works like that. You know what I'm saying? That's looking to do something in life, not looking to just stand and be stuck and all that other shit. They looking to do something about it. Because hell, I know for a fact going to school and working and making sure to take care of your household, that's not an easy task. Zion, congratulations, JB. 28,000 in the chat. Thank goodness for KB. Oh, Lord, here you go with the jokes. Zion Hopkins. Thanks for participating in the chat. Zion Hopkinson, whatever your name is.
What would you say about the Republican Party? You're not about to sit up here and act like they're paragons of virtue, right? And that they're always honest and straightforward. We're not going to do that, are we?
No, I think that Bush II was the worst president in my life. I absolutely hated him because of the things that he did to the economy. That was the worst time of my life. I went broke. I think that Obama inherited a mess. I don't think that everything that Obama did was wrong. I actually think that Trump's policies more or less align with what Obama was doing in 2008, 2009, 2010, right? If you look at Nancy Pelosi's policies back in 96, right? If you look at what Joe Biden said that he stood for, if you look at what Obama represented, those are the same things that Trump represent. They want to.
Damn, Chef X. Chef X, you at the plantation until 6 a.m.? God damn, shout out, Chef X. Tell you, it's hardworking people that be up in my chat putting in that work. And look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't mind performing for hardworking people that gotta work 12 and 16 hours, 18 hours to help them get them through their day. See, that's why I come in at. Yeah, that's why I come in there. But Chef X, I ain't gonna front now. I ain't doing no 18 hours now. I got 4 hours for you to be entertained now, but I ain't doing no 18. I ain't doing no 18 hours now. Look, I give you 4 good hours, my dude. 4 good hours. After that, yeah. Hopefully, if I'm able to go back live later, then you know it is what it is. But no, I ain't gonna be able to do no 18 hours with you. I do 4 of them with you, but I ain't doing the whole 18 now.
make it seem like, well, him deporting illegal migrants is such a bad thing. Obama deported over 3 million people. In his terms, Trump didn't even deport 1 million people in his first term in office. So I don't think that what Trump is doing is so radical. I think that what he's doing is more closely aligned with what moderate Democrats was doing back in the 90s.
So with that being said, is it fair to say that you wouldn't be against the Democratic Party if it represented what those Democrats represented back in the day, that your real problem is with the progressive movement that appears to have taken over the Democratic Party, and that's what you completely disassociating yourself from?
No, absolutely not. I believe in less government. I believe that people that are here, they should be here legally. I don't believe in men and women's bathrooms. I believe in smaller, much smaller government. I don't believe in higher taxes. I don't believe that you are independent. I think that you are conservative. I think you're a Republican. And not just with your dollar. I think that you are a Republican, but I don't think that you are willing to admit it openly because of the backlash that comes along with the black.
I know damn well they not about to sit up here and just talk politics, though. Because when I hear people talking politics, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. All I hear is blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. That is literally what I hear when I hear people talking about politics. Blah, 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 blah. So it's like, in my mind, why in the hell am I still trying to entertain looking at a conversation like that? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know, look, y'all, and I'm just going to be honest, right? I think that it's a facade for these people that get on here on social media and be trying to portray themselves to be like experts about politics and shit. Yeah, I see, you know what I'm saying? I see. They bucket like a motherfucker right now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, goddamn. Shit. It's just blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what I hear when I listen to conversations like this about Trump. Blah, 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 blah. About Biden, blah, 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 blah. About Obama, blah, 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 blah. About Bill Clinton, blah, 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 blah. It's all blah, 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 blah. That's all it is to me. Because no matter which way you think, right, that you should go what side you think you should be on, man, look, man, fuck that. Be on your own side. That's how I look at it. Be independent for real. All this conservative, all this liberal, just be independent. Depend on self. All that trying to be up in a group like, man, all that grouping up ass shit, that shit don't work. You got people that's up in the group that's looking to snake you if they feel you getting too much publicity or you getting too much clout or whatever the case may be. Ain't nobody got time for all that. Think that shit is just overrated with these groups, liberals, conservatives. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't be want to hear that. It really don't interest me to really even like, cause it's to me it's all the same. They just put a fucking name on it and label it. That's it. But both parties is doing the same goddamn thing. But one party gonna try to convince you that the other party is more bogus than the other part. Man, like, man, get the fuck out of here. I'm not about to sit up here try to decipher who's bad and who's not. Then how about I equally say all you sons of bitches is bad? How about that? Just kill all that bullshit noise and be trying to be on this person's side and that person's side. No, all of y'all full of shit.
That community and not supporting people that aligns with the Democratic Party.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because allow me to retort to that. I don't give a shit what people say. If I feel what I feel, I'm going to stand on it. My challenge is knowing what I'm talking about. You study politics more than I do, along with various others. And so because of that, there are times that I'm simply uncertain about a position. And because I'm uncertain about a position, I lean on the same old, same old. Like, for example, I'm about the economy. I want a strong economy, okay? So I'm about free market capitalism. But I like some safety nets, not just free market capitalism and let's minimize government involvement to the nth degree. I think that
like
makes
what?
Me...
What safety nets?
No, I'm just talking about, well, when you talk about economically speaking, I don't want over-regulation, but I don't want zero regulation either. You see what I'm saying? And in a binary system, they force us to pick a side. So for me, when I say I'm an independent, I'm like, damn, there's certain things that I lean a little bit here to the right, and then I lean a little bit here to the left.
I don't think that the Republican Party forces us to pick. I don't. The Republican Party.
No, I'm just answering your question about me. I'm just answering your question about me, just for clarification purposes.
That's fair.
With immigration, the only reason I totally supported Trump closing the borders because Biden opened them. If Biden had never opened them,
why not vote for him? Why not vote for him?
Because first of all, I've said this on many occasions. I would have voted for Nikki Haley. I would have voted definitely for Nikki Haley. Possibly DeSantis. I didn't like his remarks about good points about slavery, so I probably turned against him because of that. I didn't appreciate that shit at all. But I would tell you, for the most part, him, and I would vote for Marco Rubio. I wouldn't hesitate. But also know this about me, because I'm glad you asked, because I heard you touching on some of my politics with some of your cliques, and I was like, I can't wait to speak to this brother, right? And I said to myself, I said, listen, I don't blame him for feeling that way because he don't know me, and I've never really discussed a lot of this. But I said, listen, if you're sitting back and it's like, all right, it's immigration, follow the Obama policy, go ahead and keep that policy in place, I would have supported that. When you talk about safety in the streets, damn right, you ain't getting out of jail the same day you get in jail, not on my watch. Oh, hell no. So in that regard, yeah, I'm more conservative than liberal. But entitlement programs are more liberal than conservative. I think the desolate and disenfranchised, because I think the desolate and disenfranchised need a helping hand from time to time. I know it helped me and my family. Now, we didn't lean on it. We didn't depend on it. We didn't live off of it for decades. But to get a helping hand, to uplift yourself, sometimes I think that's needed, and it doesn't bother me. So I'm pro-choice, because I don't believe in telling a woman what to do with her body. I think.
Damn, man, Tom, you don't want to help nobody out? Anybody can be down on their luck, bro. And things just ain't working out for them. Shit, hell, the rich people have a safety net. How come the middle class and the lower class can't get them a safety net? Damn. He trying to rid motherfuckers that's not making a certain amount of money. Like, bro, everybody has their value. Don't matter to me about your income or what you get. You still bring value to the economy. Everybody does. No one is left out. You think these retailers is just keeping their merch just for the rich and the middle class? No. Us lower class people, well, I won't even say lower class, I'll say middle. But even with lower middle class people, we need it. Because you upper class people ain't gonna put in the work. Y'all ain't really willing to get your hands dirty. Okay? So stop with all this facade like we're not needed. Yes, lower and middle class is always needed. Working class, right, Egan? Working class in itself is going to always be needed. Because again, you rich pricks ain't going to lift a hand. Y'all ain't going to get y'all hands dirty to save your goddamn life. Okay? So you don't ever discredit working class at all. Don't ever discredit that. Because again, most of you rich pricks that's entitled and had a spoon in your goddamn mouth ain't gonna do a bitch ass thing.
I'm more of a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community than conservatives are. So those are the reasons why I would call myself an independent who leans a little bit left instead of right, to clarify.
But here's the thing though, Stephen A. The Republican Party is not distancing itself from people that's choosing to live their life the way that they want to live it. That's not the position, and that's how it's marketed from the Democrat Party. Okay. There's plenty of gay people. There's plenty of people that live alternative lifestyles that are a part of the Republican Party. What the Republicans are basically saying and standing for is we should not be allowing for children to transition themselves or for parents to transition children before they become of age. We should not
totally
allow
agree with that.
But see that
1,000% I agree with you.
It's not that Republicans are radical. They're not radical in their stance against anything. They believe in, freedom of religion and for you to be able to practice however you want to practice.
Right.
They're not trying to abolish gay marriage. None of that stuff is existing, right? That is a marketing ploy. But Democrats are extreme in their push for it in order to align themselves with certain groups. No, that has been since Obama
back in the day.
Office.
All right, I got that. But I grew up in the 80s, in the 90s, and what have you, and I was hearing a different thing from the Reagan and the H.W. Bush administration. So you got to take that into consideration, and maybe I dropped the ball because I'm thinking about Republicans and conservatives, and I'm thinking about what the party had always been, even up until McCain was running, and I'm looking at it from that lens. That's all I'm going to. But let me get back to you.
Hold on, but let's stay on the my body, my choice part.
Sure, no problem.
Republicans are not removing women's rights to do what they want to do with their body. The only thing that they're saying is we don't want that to be the responsibility of the federal government. If that's what you want, then you can vote for it on a state level. That's all they're saying. But see, the miscommunication is that they're completely against it. I can disagree with your lifestyle, but still respect your right to do what you want to do because we're governed by the Constitution.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like my ultimate thing is we are a republic governed by the Constitution, and so we're protected based off of our rights, our amendments, our right to carry, right? All of these things. Trump is the only person that's protecting and going against birthright citizenship for illegal migrants, leveraging that when that was literally made for Black people and slaves. I don't see anything that he's doing policy-wise when he's when he's developing a lot of these things that create criteria for people to meet the expectation in order for them to get certain things, even when it comes to government services and help and food stamps and Section 8 and all of that stuff. They're not getting rid of it. They want to remove the people that are taking advantage of it from a fraud perspective.
Let me throw this by you. Let me throw this scenario about you. Do you have siblings?
I do. 3 brothers, no sisters.
All right, so you don't have any sisters. Okay, so it's a difficult question to ask you, but I'm gonna try anyway because I have 4 older sisters. I have 4 older sisters, right?
Okay.
So you feel the way that you feel, but your sisters come up to you and say, "You ain't a woman. I am, and we need this." And what he or they are proposing is against us. Now, that's not a community backlash. That's not worrying about what the public thinks. But I'll be damned if I didn't hear my sisters come in my face and remind me or the fact that you were raised by 5 women and we don't appreciate what he and them, meaning the GOP, are attempting to do when it comes to our rights as women. I'm asking you, what are you supposed to say, think, and feel in that particular scenario?
I want them to tell me what rights is being removed from them. Because I know that women often at times react emotionally, and they're letting their emotions dictate their actions, right? It's okay for you to be emotional. Everybody has emotions, but I'm not going to let that determine what I actually do, right? And so the thing that I want to understand is the facts. So I would have a conversation with them, and I would ask them, what right is it that's being removed from you? Because I don't see it. I don't see any policy. I don't see any legislation. I don't see anything that's being removed from you from a Republican perspective.
Okay. Anton Daniels right here, straight shooter with yours truly, Stephen A. I want to get to the black community in this regard, because one of the things that, listen, like I said, I don't consider myself a black conservative. I consider myself a black man who is an independent that leans left on some things and leans right. That's me. That's how I think about myself.
You can't be that way, Stephen A. You cannot be that way.
I believe I can. I believe I can.
No.
We could answer. I will gladly come on your show. We can argue about that all day, every day, bro. I'm happy to. I can't. Oh, come on. Oh, please, man. All you got to do is say the word.
Because
you say the word, I will come on your show. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all.
Oh, well, damn. Stephen A. said, Anton, whenever you want me to come on your show, I'm going to come on there. Well, damn. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine. Hey, Yam Sam, look, I'm with Stephen A. Smith on this regard. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I don't want to be I don't want people to sit up here and say, because I agree with this, that's what it is. Like, no, I just want the best of a little bit of the best of every little situation. And let me go ahead on about my goddamn business. You want me to believe everything that the so-called conservatives say, right? But then, if then you want me to either believe that, or I gotta believe this, and I gotta carry myself a certain way in order to keep up that perception. No, I want a little some of every goddamn thing. I want to be able to benefit from everything and not be having to be up in a damn group. The fuck? Like that shit to me is just irritating.
You could do that in sports. You can't do that in popular culture and politics.
Because
people in the middle get ran over. You got to pick one side or the other.
45% of the U.S. population is independent right now. I would beg to differ on that. It's climbing.
They're not.
If anything, listen, the independent vote, I think, is going to swing the election one way or the other. What do you say to that?
Not. I don't believe.
You don't think that's going to happen?
I don't believe that 45% of the population is independent. I think that they say that as a cop-out, but not wanting to actually say out loud exactly what they represent and who it is that they support, especially within the Black community. It's not popular to say that you're a Republican. It's not popular to say that you're conservative. And so what people lean on is to say, well, I'm independent, in order to give themselves an out for what it is that they choose and not to be accountable for who they support. That's what really is happening. See, I don't believe in what people say. I believe in what people do, right? And I think that a lot of times people are peer pressured, especially today in the Black community, to vote against their own best interest because it's not popular to do and you can't be a part of the cool kids club. And so even with you, I don't like the fact that you apologize for some of the things that you said, because you were absolutely right, especially and particularly against how Jasmine Crockett was representing herself. But because the woke mob decided that they wanted to make you the punching bag and to come after you, and they still and don't support you and didn't accept your apology, but in particular, and I'm saying it's not you, the Don Lemons, the Joy Reids, all of these people, they don't respect you unless you align with what they believe. And so even when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, they don't believe in diversity unless it's aligned with what they believe, which goes against it. It's an oxymoron, right? It's hypocritical. And so even when you have an opinion, they don't believe in Black Republicans. Mm-hmm. They only believe if you believe in them and diversity as it aligns with their agenda. Mm. That doesn't make sense. How can you want to have voices in every part of government, or voices that's different from yours, or representation, but you don't want representation when it doesn't agree with you?
Right.
Like, I can disagree with you on a particular issue, but it doesn't mean that I remove your right to vote, or your humanity, or I can't agree with you on this other issue. But that's not what they do. They're not tolerant like they sell you.
We all know that when it comes to cancel culture, the Democrats are the ones that are guilty of that. It ain't the Republicans 100%. And the right trying to get people canceled. It's the progressive left. There's no doubt about that. We see that every single day. As it pertains, and I'm glad you brought that up, as it pertains to my apology to Jasmine Crockett, what happened was Trump came out thereafter, because I backed it up and I stayed on my position. Or not just the first time, but the second time. But then Trump came and used that as an excuse to start questioning her IQ and the intelligence of this Black woman. And I didn't want to be a part of that. That's why I apologize for it. You can agree or disagree with it.
You can't apologize for something that you didn't do wrong, Stephen.
Well, again, but if I felt like I contributed to something that happened wrong to her, that was my only issue. But it didn't take away from what I was saying. Yo, acting like that ain't gonna cut it. Yo, that's not gonna win the election for you. That's not gonna win the Senate seat. That's not gonna make you have more power, more influence in the House of Representatives.
That's not who you are. That's not who you are when you talk about sports. When you talk about sports, you say what you say, and it is what it is.
Yeah, but the point is, I have the facts to back it up, not just my opinions. See, when the Detroit Pistons lose to the New York Knicks, when they lose to the New York Knicks, Anton, right? Okay, I can speak definitively as to why, because the outcome is the outcome. There's nothing subjective about it. So that a lot of and I get what you said, and I appreciate your comment about that, because a lot of people have looked at me, and even when they've supported me, they've been critical of me from the standpoint, yo, he's talking, but it ain't the same Stephen A with sports. And I'm like, yo, I got facts to back me up. In politics, this is my perspective. If somebody comes up with something else, I'm listening to you right now. I'm going like this. Well, I did feel this way, but damn, he did make a damn good point here, and he did make a damn good point there. I got to listen. I got to think about that, because that's how it is.
If they would have listened to you, if they would have listened to you,
she would have won. She would have won. She would have won.
We align with that, right? But instead, we're more focused on how we feel instead of the results, which leads back to your original question about having a conversation with your sisters. My goal is to get the best results. And ultimately, sometimes I can't even be the nice person to you because I have to be the best person for you, right? Okay. I kind of look at it, especially when it comes to women, because there are women that I still protect in my family and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I can't be, like, I have a daughter, and I know that you have a couple daughters. Yeah. I can't be her friend. I have to be her father. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes she doesn't know what's best for her, which I can lead her through that with a conversation. But more importantly, I need to educate her at the same time. But I still want the best results. And if people really cared about Jasmine Crockett, then they would have stood 10 toes down and told her the truth, instead of just going along with the get along gang to make her feel good about it. And now she's not even a part of she got eliminated in the primary.
There you go. We're talking to Anton Daniels right here on Straight Shooter. What's the hardest part about being a Black conservative?
It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. It's beautiful. I think that it's like being a man. Sometimes I think the true measure of a man is doing the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. All the time, you don't always want to get up and go to work, right? Because sometimes you're tired. But guess what? Part of being a man is getting up and taking care of business because you got people to take care of. And I think that we've lost that as men, and as masculinity is continuously demonized in the culture. Sometimes we look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a badge of honor. So I don't think that there's anything, honestly, I don't look at it. I can't think of right off the top of my head something that I'm bothered by when it comes to being a conservative or Republican, because I just think it's an education process. In the same way that I used to critique and look at other people and say, man, I don't understand why they a Republican. is the light and the insight that I had to get. And ultimately, it was people that stood 10 toes down and didn't change just because they wanted somebody to feel good about them, which gave me some incentive to do my own research. And then that's what led me to being Republican myself.
You said black culture has become, quote, I'm reading from something that you said here, too victim oriented. But the wealth gap is real. But the wealth gap is real. The median white household has several times the wealth of the median black household, which I know.
No, I disagree with that. Because that Drewski skit of what he did with Erica Kurt got all these white folks in their goddamn feelings. Oh, but if I was to do a skit with a minstrel skit about black folks, I would be racist. I'm sure y'all seen the skit that Drewski did of Erica Kurt. Now, that skit I won't play on here. I ain't playing that one. Hey, Miss Roz, happy Saturday. Hope all is well with you. All right, Dulles, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you tuning in to the channel, man. You know, I appreciate you always coming over here, giving the view, and hitting that like button. Salute to you and the family, man. Hope y'all have a good time on out. All this politics, though, it be sometimes all the time. That means not to say sometimes. It just be drowning. I don't be want to hear all that shit. But my thing is, why is they so worked up about Drewski? Drewski just okay, in their eyes, Drewski did that church skit, right? Now he do a skit on Erica Kurt, right? What's the big deal? It's a skit. He's reenacting on what he sees. That really hurted your feelings? Like, man, come on, man. I think the white people trying to get their get back on us black folks always playing victim all the goddamn time. Now the white folks want to play victim now. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit.
Oh, you know. Where do you draw the line between personal responsibility and at least acknowledging structural barriers that may exist?
I don't believe that there are any structural barriers in 2026. And I think to say that it is disrespectful to the people that was actually civil rights leaders that fought for our ability to do the things that we're doing today. We don't even show up to the polls. And most of the time, especially if it's a local election or it's an election that's off cycle from the national election, we're less than 20% showing up at the polls, but it's people that died for us to vote, right? We literally can determine our own future today. There's nothing holding us back now. If you told me this 100 years ago, 50 years ago, I might have listened to you. I might have took that and said, you know what? There are some things that's preventing us from being what we are. But honestly, most of the things, I would say 98, 99% of the things that is wrong with us is self-inflicted wounds. And life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So if you're telling me, like, for example, they'll use, schools and HBCUs or whatever. I went to community college and I made my way through corporate America and got to some of the highest levels in corporate America in banking, information technology, UX, UI. I went to community college, transferred over to before I went to community college, I got a job at the University of Michigan. The University of Michigan then helped pay for my education to go to a major university after I transferred from that community college. Why don't we embrace that? Why don't we embrace trades? Why don't we embrace, different cultural norms that's not toxic to us? So in 2026, if I'm expected to teach my daughter, who just turned 18, that there's something that's preventing her from being successful and she need a leg up or a handout in order to be that, it'll be a cold day in hell before I ever tell her that.
See, you and I disagree in this regard. I believe that when you talk about most of our issues are self-inflicted, I'm just not going as high as the 98% that you threw out there. I think it's more like 70-30 personally. That's what I do. I think it's more like 70-30 in your favor. But I think it's more like 70-30. And here's why. Because I can use the word structural barriers, but then I can turn around when you debunk that and say, okay, no proverbial glass ceiling. I certainly believe that exists. There's definitely a proverbial glass ceiling. Because when you walk into, well, again, you walk in, like, for example, let me use me for example, because you'll appreciate this.
All right. I'm not going to go over this whole interview right here. But again, shout out to Stephen A. Smith for having a conversation with Anton Daniels. If you have not checked out the full live stream, y'all go over there to Straight Shooter with Stephen A. Smith and go check out the rest of this video. I must say, for what I've heard so far with the interview, it is pretty good. Gotta give it to him. Anton Daniels most definitely know how to hold his own and go on the panel and not be afraid of the moment. He spoke his piece. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so let me do this. All right. All right. Shout out to Drop Squad TV.
That's what makes them so unrespectable. In fact, if you know somebody lies on somebody, how can you respect them unless you're a piece of shit like them? Lying on somebody is something that our society should be trained like, yo, if this person lies on somebody, that lets you know enough about them where you have to be cautious around them. But I feel like our society will let a liar lie just for the entertainment value of it, and it just brings down society. Right. Somebody say, lies get more views for sure. Was it I'm 100 always? Lies get more views for sure. Hey, you know what? I'm not even going to debate that with that, whoever that is. Right. Lies will get more views. But this is what I'm trying to say. I'm only trying to say this. When you lie on people, you are part of the destruction of society. And if we as a society accept lies as weaponry, then what good are we as a society? I'm just saying.
All right, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to y'all. All right, the next video that we about to go over. Hold on. Now, the next video we are going to go over is Kwame Brown's interview with Jason Whitlock. We about to go over that video right now. All right. Let's see. Boy, I swear they most definitely got smoke for Stephen A for sure. I'm talking about smoke. All right, here we go. Shout out to Kwame Brown Bus Life for getting the content with Jason Whitlock. Fair use. This is for me giving my reaction and commentary on the conversation and interview that Kwame Brown gave to Jason Whitlock, gracing his panel. All right. Again, shout out to Kwame Brown Bus Life for the content. All right, let's get it from. Okay.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's cracking?
Ain't nothing. Man, you got the internet on fire right now.
Hold for a second. I'm getting feedback.
Okay, hold on. You probably got the YouTube in the background. Just hit the YouTube close in the background and just leave the StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I said you got YouTube on fire right now because I think the things that you've been saying on your platform, they can control it, they can hide it. But being able to say what you said on Cam Newton's platform, now they got to deal with it. So can you elaborate on what you were saying on Cam's show? And did you hear Stephen A. Smith response to you?
Of course, I heard the response. I think you've nailed the point in terms of I'm clearly shadow banned on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere. And they've created this perception that, the things that I say are so dangerous that you shouldn't engage with it. And so when Cam, and this is where me and Marcellus were talking about this a few days ago.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Jason Whitlock, they got you shadow banned? Now that's news to me. Now, do anybody believe that Jason Whitlock is shadow banned? I mean, it's a possibility, maybe, but what basis would they have to really shadow ban you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you believe it? You believe it, Egan? Well, it like I say, it's a possibility, but I mean, again, you just talking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that to be true.
About when you said "go along, get along" gang, the first time you said it, it was like boom. Someone finally crystallized what's been transpiring in the sports media space. And just in the media space in general. And Stephen A. is at the top of that go along, get along gang. He's backed by Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, Disney, and Bob Iger. Those guys are the puppet masters, and they've made him untouchable. And, I'm just diligently, because I got the time and it's a passion of mine, I'm just going to prove that, yes, he can be touched. This man is so fraudulent and so insecure that, yeah, he can be touched.
But see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I wouldn't want anyone to come on my platform. This is just me. And talk about an individual being fraudulent or doing something that's against the law without any type of proof to back up what you're saying. That's me. Forget the talking, right? Forget the talking. Forget you sitting up here on my platform saying that another individual is fraudulent that's on a higher echelons of being a public figure. No, you won't get me in no trouble like that. That's just me. Again, that's just me. I'm not going to go fall for that goddamn trick. I would want to see some damn proof. Yeah, the dislike for Stephen A is for real. Kwame Brown cannot stand Stephen A. Smith. I won't say the H word, but hell, in so many ways you can say it, but I won't say it on my show. I'll just politely say he very much so dislikes Stephen A. Smith.
You know, I'm trying to explain to people, this is a pathological liar. And I know that doesn't mean as much as it used to. I'm 58. Like when I was growing up, the last thing you wanted to be called was a liar. You know, in 1983, the movie Scarface came out. And one of the great scenes in Scarface, Tony Montana's talking to that salsa down in wherever they're at, Colombia or whatever, and said, all I got in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for nobody. That's 1983. I was like 15, 16 years old. Everybody that in school was quoting that, and Scarface was the greatest movie. And that's like how young men and certainly older men felt, like that their word was their bond. And, you know, we don't live in that type of culture and world today.
Appreciate that.
You even, not that, you know, I got a lot of respect for the criminal world, but if you listen to criminals talk, like, man, everybody, as soon as they get questioned, they start snitching.
Now,
like,
wait a minute.
Your word don't.
Now, Egan, that goes both ways. Egan, that go both ways. Now, if you believe that Jason Whitlock is shadow banned, not only do Kwame Brown need Jason Whitlock, but Jason Whitlock needs Kwame Brown. They both using each other. They both using each other in this situation right here. Of course, Kwame Brown gonna have old Jason Whitlock there on the panel to talk about Stephen A. Smith. Of course, if they trying to silence Jason Whitlock on his own platform, he don't go to someone else that hates Stephen A. just as much. Shit. So really, in hindsight, they both using each other in this situation. Kwame Brown cashing in, and Jason Whitlock gonna cash in. Win-win.
It's just, you know, can you blame the next man for your problems and get out from underneath and just snitch? And so, look, I'm never going to change. You know, my balls and my word are important to me, and particularly as I, you know, come in closer relationship with my Christian faith, my word becomes even more important to me. And so, I've never seen anybody that's as much a pathological liar as Stephen A. Smith.
When you say pathological liar, he was upset that Cam Newton didn't ask you to elaborate on what he lied about. But what I also noticed that he didn't do, with all these robust words that Stephen A. Smith know, he didn't examine what you said and then put in where you were wrong. He didn't say, oh, I didn't lie about college. Let me show you what I did do. He never did that. So can you kind of explain what you mean by he's a pathological liar?
Well, first, let me piggyback off your point. He wants Cam to do more than what he's willing to do. Stephen A. Smith won't answer the questions, won't defend himself.
No, Jason Whitlock, you made a very you made an accusation about that man, saying that he's a fraudulent individual. So put like this, the burden of proof is on you to prove that Stephen A is fraudulent, especially if you put it out there. Boy, y'all crazy. Yeah, say your ass crazy as hell.
But he wants Cam to, and Cam's like, I don't know. Some man that's on TV saying I averaged 1.5 points, but only played one game. How's Cam supposed to defend that? Oh, I knocked down 17 straight 3-pointers in a scrimmage on a Sunday when the college team had played on a Saturday. I mean, you read his book, the man is saying, like, in February, he was driven down to Winston-Salem in 1988 or 1989, and on a Sunday, he had this tryout. Well, anybody that knows anything about basketball is like, well, in February or early March, they're still playing. And so you telling me they played a game on Saturday and then hosted a scrimmage for some dude that didn't play in high school, didn't play in junior college, they hosted a scrimmage, and then he hit 17 straight threes in a game, in a scrimmage. Kwame, we haven't seen anybody in the NBA three-point contest knock down 17 straight threes. Steph Curry hasn't done it in a three-point contest with no defense.
Now, see, this is why they don't like you, because your delivery is like that. You make everybody laugh. Now, they've done a great job hiding this dude. I know he's a fake. He talks too loud. He has no resume to back up, be it having so much bravado. But what's making him not just sit down with you? He's a journalist. You are a journalist. I'm tired of seeing people act like that, especially in journalism, act like jocks, act like us, be like, oh, and just fight. You guys are supposed to be the intellects. Why isn't he sitting down talking to you about what you're saying?
He has no defense for what I'm saying. And the accusations and the charges he makes against me, it's like, okay, he's Whitlock, you're fat. And I'm going to say, okay, yes. Whitlock, I make more money than you. And I'm going to say, okay, yes. What I'm going to say, Stephen A., explain to me how Winston-Salem State, poor little HBCU, is offering somebody with no resume a scholarship on the spot based off some bogus scrimmage that happened at the end of February or 1st of March when they're in their season. He can't say, okay, yeah, I'm lying, because that's going to damage his credibility, and it's going to open up for me to start unpacking all the additional lies. Kwame, again, this one, like, this guy's got no street smarts, and this is why I can't believe how Negroes cape up for this dude. He's a buster. He's sitting on himself. Everybody in my neighborhood knew.
Man, damn all that. It's not that saying it's all about who we like. It's all about who we dislike. That is the total opposite, because see, here's the thing on why I feel that way. People would try to gather around an individual that for the consensus of people, right, they don't like this person either. So they gather around this individual that don't like the individual that they don't like, knowing that they don't even like that individual that's talking about the individual in whole that they all don't like. Do y'all understand how phony and fake that shit is? That's why I don't want nobody to come over here and act like, oh, just because I dislike this person, you gonna join up with me and we can both dislike this person. No, go on your own channel and do that shit. Because my level of disdainment for individual is going to be totally different from your disdainment for that individual. I don't want to mix the two. So how about you go to your own channel and you rant and rave the way you see fit, and I stay right here and I say what I need to say and get the hell on. It ain't good, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, to be grouped up with anybody. If you don't like a person for what your reasons is, let that be that. But then when you sit up and join other people that don't like that same exact person that you don't like, then guess what? Then you involve yourself with their reasons of why they don't like the person that you don't like. So now I can't tell the difference. See, if I stay over here in my own channel and I tell y'all my rhyme or reason why I don't like an individual, and I stand on what I say without going to here or there and voicing my opinion, if I see somebody else talking about the person that I don't like, I don't move that way. I really am a solo act. If I don't like you, I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't like you. I don't have to group up with nobody on the internet to join in on no alleged hate campaign about nobody. No, I don't hate you, but I dislike what the fuck you said. And I'm going to tell you that I dislike what you said, give the rhyme a reason, but then I'm going to get the fuck gone.
I was not to be touched. This dope dealer had my back, and Stephen A. Smith was not to be touched. Kwame, I'm not the most hood guy.
That's what he turned into Brick.
I'm not the most hood guy, but my father was. My father's business was in the hood. I've been around a lot of hood guys. That's just not how things operate. Somebody that got held back in fourth grade because they thought he was retarded. There's not some dope dealer sitting out there saying Stephen A. Smith is not to be touched. He's going to be important one day. Firstly, everything that comes out of his mouth, it's comical. It's like it's an SNL skit that he's passing off like it's reality, and it's, he's easy. Everybody knows it. What shocks me, Kwame, is if I'm Kevin Durant or LeBron James and I'm in some kind of back and forth dispute with Stephen A., why don't these guys? They're from the basketball world. They know how much this guy's lying. Why won't they call him out for this stuff?
Because it's all a chain. Because of the people who make money off of Stephen A. They gave him what, $200 million? Do you know how much money they make off of Stephen A? If they can pay him $200 million, how much do you think he's generating?
I'm gonna push back. He's not generating that. I think what it's an indication of is how important the agenda that he's promoting. What are they willing to pay to have a puppet to promote that agenda?
So you think Stephen A. was created for an agenda? What's the agenda?
Controlling Negroes, Negro Wrangler, overseer. Overseers, if you went back to the 17 and 1800s, they were well paid. And they're really well paid now because controlling Negroes is that important. And so, he's not to touch on anybody's funny bone, but like he's paid that money because he's willing to go on TV and say, you Negroes, take the vaccine. How dare you not take the vaccine? The guy gave a whole speech on taking the COVID vaccine. And I'm like, this dude's a sports writer. And he's giving medical advice on TV, scolding black people. Hey man,
I thought I was the only one that see it. I know guys like you see it, but what's stopping the masses from seeing that they're putting people in place that you like, and they're getting these influencers and these people to influence you to do things without thought?
insecurity, and this is the real touchy part, which will, Negroes like to be controlled. We don't want the responsibility.
I'm sorry, Black. I'm sorry, people. Talk about Negro.
We don't want the responsibility of having to take care of ourselves, and so we prefer to be controlled, and so they'll send a Stephen A. out there, and we'll all sit and watch. Like Kwame Brown tweeted out a movie poster about Black people being the real Jews. Not my type of movie, but if that's what he's into, who cares? This is America. This Negro can think whatever he wants to think. Stephen A. went on TV. Kwame Brown, I can't believe, not Kwame, Kyrie Irving, I can't believe you're doing this. You're stirring up all kinds of trouble. You know, Master don't like it when you talk like that. And vilified Kyrie Irving. It control of Negroes. You're not allowed to think this. You're not allowed to support this. You're not allowed to be free. You have to think what we tell you to think, and we'll put Stephen A. in a big shiny suit and overpay him and let you say, man, if I just do what I'm told like Stephen A. Smith, I can get suits like Stephen A. Smith. I can get a job talking on TV about things I know nothing about. Knows nothing about basketball, knows nothing about football, baseball, any of it.
Oh, when he went to UFC, that was like the ultimate low blow. I was gonna stop watching. They checked him quick though. That's how it's supposed to be. They're like, what? When he started talking about fighting, I'm like, oh man. And that's like the one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yep.
The hypocrisy is right in people's face. Like Stephen A. Smith was able to go on to Carmelo Anthony's show, say whatever about LeBron, but he wants to be able to nobody to go on anybody else's show talking about him. Why is that?
You of all people care about Stephen A. saying what he's saying about LeBron? Kwame, when you sit up here and made it your business to talk about LeBron and his son? Oh, God damn, Kwame. I can't believe that Kwame Brown even said that. I wouldn't thought that you, just because you don't like Stephen A. though, huh? God damn.
So Carmelo is friends with LeBron, and he allowed LeBron's biggest critic at ESPN to come on his show and talk salty about LeBron James.
Yeah.
And what Stephen A. when you're, and I'm just keeping it real, when you have, because I really don't believe in book sense. I really don't. I'm a mid to low level IQ person.
Bro, see, that's what I'm saying though, Egan, and that's why I can't take Kwame Brown seriously. I can't take him seriously. Because I believe that half the stuff that Stephen A. even had to say about LeBron on the Carmelo show, he damn near agreed with it. Hey, Sela, how you doing? You say NC Lady Bronx, you out the bushes with her comment, huh? I know that's right.
I believe in common sense. I believe in street sense. I believe in biblical sense, in a biblical worldview. Those things actually are the source of wisdom. Stephen A., though, is low IQ. And when you get all the money that they've given him, and you're not attached to a street sense, a common sense, or a biblical worldview, you lose your mind. And
I'm sorry, but Jason, if I'm being honest, bro, you sounded like a big time hater. And especially because Stephen A. Smith then came in into all that money with that contract, right? It's most definitely true what they say. More money, more problems. And Jason Whitlock, I believe, in my opinion, that you is very envious of Stephen A. Smith. That is my personal opinion. Do I care? No. You have every right to go at Stephen A. Smith the way you see fit. But me outside looking in, bro, and the way you try to invest your time into trying to take Stephen A. down, bro, it just, to me, it comes off like you really got a hatred for Stephen A. Smith for some odd reason. Like, I would want to know what the fuck did Stephen A. Smith do to you? Can anybody up in the chat in sound mind tell me, what did Stephen A. Smith do to Jason Whitlock? What did he do to you that is so personal, and you got to go at Stephen A. Smith every chance you get on the internet to talk about him lying, talk about this? Look, I already understand with Kwame. So I don't have to ask that question because Kwame laid it out clear a long time ago. So I get with Kwame, but Jason Whitlock, what the fuck did Stephen A. Smith do to you? Damn, I mean, the hate is completely real, NC Lady B1. I don't too much care for Stephen A. Smith and most of the shit that he say, but like, I'm not going to sit up here and hate on the man for getting his money. He did what he had to do to get to the point where he is. Yeah, he was going to rub some people the wrong way. I get it, but like, goddamn, how the fuck did he rub you the wrong way though, Jason Whitlock? What the fuck did he do to you?
Start thinking like, hey man, I'm one of the smartest, most powerful people on the planet. I get to make the rules and I don't have to obey the rules. I'm part of the chosen ones. And
so, Jason, you want to be a part of the chosen ones? You want to be a part of the ones that can break the rules and be above it all? That's why you mad at Stephen A? Damn, man, you didn't make the cut. You sounded like a bitter-ass woman right now at this point. Bro, this ain't no good look for you, my nigga. Come on, Jason Whitlock. This ain't a good look for you, bro. Again, I understand why Kwame don't like Stephen A. I understand that completely. But with you, I'm just a little bit confused of why you have so much venom for a man that never personally did anything to you. I'm not talking about no words. I'm not talking about him, y'all debate. Forget all that because, again, unless you really know Stephen A. Smith on a real life personal level, then what the fuck is we really talking about here? Damn, I mean, god damn. And then they wonder why they see the bullshit that they see on the internet when you have public figures that's on a certain echelons acting like Jason Whitlock. In my opinion, he is acting like a hurt bitch.
so he just has a double standard and he can't compete. There's no consistency in logic or worldview because he's not attached to anything. That's why one day he seems like he's a political conservative. The next day he seems like he's a progressive liberal. He has no consistent worldview. None of it is attached.
Well, Jason, how about this? I got 200 million reasons to say different. because obviously the company feels different than what you feel. So you giving your opinion for the free about Stephen A. Smith, while Stephen A. Smith is getting paid like a motherfucker, right? To give his opinion about whatever it is that he want to give his opinion is. You not so much. You not so much though, Jason. So you sit, you know what? Let me not go too far with it. But Jason, it just make you look bad sitting up here complaining about Stephen A. Smith though, bro. And see, lady people say you better say it. Oh, this is fake beef at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Whitlock is fighting for his internet life right now. Jason Whitlock is trying to find his way to being relevant in the algorithm some type of way. Shit. Fake hate for Stephen A. Smith. Because this ain't nothing but fake ass hate. So what? You have not named one definitive thing that Stephen A. Smith has actually did to you personally. You act like Stephen A. Smith that got your shadow banned. Damn, you giving another man a lot of goddamn power then, Jason. The fuck?
To anything sound, and it just whichever way the wind's blowing or whichever way his paymasters say, we need you blowing this direction, that's what he does.
Man, come
on. What about, I think LaShawn McCoy and Ryan Clark especially, he chastised Cam Newton in a way. I'm like, dang. Like, he was like, where's the loyalty? Basically, like, he ain't even loyal. Like, so that's always why I'm leery of taking somebody's money, because I always believe it's attached to something. Like how they had that dollar on the fishing pole. Oh, got to be quicker than that. So once you get it, what is this money for? And I think they gave Cam Newton the money, like, you know, just to keep him quiet so that people don't question anything about people at ESPN.
What you say, Egan? Oh, Lord. Jason fucked up if he can only get on Kwame's channel. Oh, God damn. Oh, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this with y'all. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. You said Jason Whitlock that really fucked up if he only able to get on Kwame's channel. God damn. Egan, you ain't shit. Hey, highly favorite.
or their puppets.
Oh,
and that's why they had another guy at ESPN, seemed like he chastised Cam, and Acho did the same thing.
As Acho is real thirsty and you know, has been struggling and you know, doesn't have a consistent worldview, doesn't have the kind of confidence someone his age that had professional football career, even though it wasn't great, still had a professional football career. The guy should be standing on more than that. Ryan Clark, another guy that has all the reason to have a lot of confidence, but doesn't. And you know, when you don't have confidence, it messes with your honesty. Ryan Clark can't stand me, and that.
Oh my God, this motherfucker Jason Whitlock. You know what though, Jason? You on the right platform to be able to send your shots out to every goddamn body. Because Kwame don't give a damn. Because Kwame chasing the content any goddamn way. So either way, he don't care. But you is sending shots. You making sure to send your shots out and get them all in while you on the Kwame Brown Bus Life channel. And Kwame, guess what? I see what's going to happen though, right? Even though you had Jason Whitlock on your panel, bro, if I'm being honest, right? Unless maybe I missed it, right? I don't see them even responding to Jason Whitlock though on what he said on your panel. Now, y'all the chat, y'all let me know if y'all didn't heard chatter from Ryan Clark in his response to what Jason Whitlock said on Kwame Brown's panel. See, what I do understand is if you know, if I'm saying this the right way, and I don't say this in no malice way, they don't give a damn about you. You shadow banned. Now, yes, has Kwame Brown talked to Ryan Clark and been on this show? Yes. But I seriously don't think that they even going to review it and give you any type of response. And this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it looks like they just trying to completely freeze you out. So it don't matter what you say. Again, I could be wrong.
That's his real problem. That he's telling Cam, how dare you legitimize Jason Whitlock? Don't you know Jason Whitlock made fun of me for crying on TV because a white woman at a McDonald's drive-thru or a Taco Bell or somewhere called my son the N-word. White woman, he don't know, his son don't know. Kwame, you from the South, I'm from Indiana. You know, some random white person or black person calling me a name, it does not move me, and it doesn't move Ryan Clark. And so I was like, hey, Ryan, this is out. But he can't stand me because I criticized him for that. And so he's not honest enough to just say, look, man, why would you legitimize Jason Whitlock? That's a bad look for me. Instead, he made it about loyalty. Well, where's Stephen A. Smith's loyalty to Max Kellerman, to Molly Qerim, to even Shannon Sharp or Skip Bayless or any of these people? There's no loyalty in that television business, and everybody knows it. And so people do what's best for them to make money and move ahead. So it's all a distraction. It's just disappointing to see these big old.
So, Jason, you mean to tell me there's something wrong with people moving the way they want to move to be able to make money and provide for their family? I don't get the logic that you coming with though. That's how it's supposed to be. Look, it is every man for theyself, Jason Whitlock. You on the outside looking in for what it seems like to me. And it seems like you don't like being on the outside looking in. It seems like you wanted to be a part of the goddamn group. You mad because they ain't let you come and play with the other guys and shit. They told you go sit your fat ass on over there in that goddamn corner and fold up like a goddamn lawn chair because we don't want you over here. Now you mad because you saying things that may allegedly could be true. But they want your ass gone. But Egan, But Egan, you know that's but that's just how shit always been. Phony kicking and all this and that. Man, look, I ain't with the phony kicking and shit, but I also understand you got to pick and choose your battles. That's what I do understand. You got to pick and choose your battles. What you say, Carlos? He mad ESPN fired him. Fox Sports fired him. Hey, well then, Carlos, then that means that Jason needs to look in the mirror instead of blaming other people and shit. Yeah, because of his views. It's because of him, Carlos. That man, Jason Whitlock, got to look himself up in the mirror and ask himself, how did I get in this situation where I can't even get a damn job with a major network? Instead, the easy way out for him to do is to blame others. I do not agree with that shit.
Athletes that many of them made nice bit amount of money, could be leaders, but instead want to be followers, want to be relatable. Again, this is like where I'm trying to challenge us as Black men. Let's take the responsibility of leadership, and this is where I'll give. Like, Cam has surprised me because he talks about being relatable, but I'm like, hey man, don't be relatable, be a leader. But now that I'm starting to see what Cam is doing is he's trying to be a leader. He's trying like, hey man, I'm gonna do what Pat McAfee did. I'm gonna be a real shot caller. The bosses, the puppet masters aren't gonna tell me what to say and do. I'm gonna do what works for me and what I believe in. And that's the difference between McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. McAfee went and built his own platform and a legitimate audience.
Okay, unbiased observers say actually he never got fired, couldn't come to terms on a new contract. Carlos said he did get fired. Well, I'll let y'all debate that part right there because I'm not going to speak on something that I'm not all the way sure about as far as with that. I just know that he don't work with him. He don't work with him no more. That's what I know. Even if they came to a mutual agreement or he got terminated. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know. So I ain't going to sit up here and debate that at all. I don't know.
Stephen A. without ESPN is nothing. The moment he disappears from ESPN, he has no clout, no credibility, no audience. And Cam wants to build a legitimate audience so that he can do, and it seems I'm starting to really believe him that like he's like, hey man, as Black men, we should be able to disagree,
right?
Talk to each other about our disagreements. And agree to disagree as men or come to some sort of compromise as men. That's what white folks do. White folks don't like each other. You think white folks?
Man, Jason Whitlock, you know, look, you a 58-year-old man, and to the networks, you just out of date. They don't want to hear all that self-righteous bullshit. They still want it to be entertaining. And that's why he shadow banned right there, Carlos, because he did say in the beginning part of Kwame Brown interviewing him that he's shadow banned, right? That's fucked up though, Carlos. And guess what? Jason ain't getting the numbers like that on YouTube. You know why? Because ain't nobody trying to hear what he got to say. Jason Whitlock at this point is grasping for straws. And it ain't no disrespect to Kwame Brown, because either way, you still got the content. So I'm not being disrespectful on that aspect of it. But come on, man.
Like, or there's half the white America can't stand Donald Trump, but they somehow managed to not cancel each other or do the things that we do. So I see Cam as like, oh, he wants a more manly discussion in sports.
But Carlos, if I'm gonna be honest though, Carlos, I see the reason why. I know the reason why Kwame don't like Stephen A. Smith. And regardless if you find it to be valid or not, I understand it. It ain't for me to question on why he really don't like Stephen A. Smith. I understand it from Kwame, but what the fuck did Stephen A. do to Jason Whitlock but do his job, do it well enough for the networks to want to pay him $200 million to do what he does? You feel what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. May the best man win. They both is independent contractors. Stephen A. won out. You feel what I'm saying? But now all these conspiracy theories and it's like, bro, that's some over-the-top bullshit, bro. Look, do your YouTube, do your commentary on that shit, and let that be the end of it, though, bro. You still have some type of lane. Mainstream just don't want you. Fuck them anyway, remember? Ain't you standing on all the shit that you just said about mainstream media? So then it shouldn't even matter. Okay, now you acting like a bitter. You know what? I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna disrespect you that way. Let me tone it down.
And that's a good thing.
Well, he's gonna be the only one wanting that, because it's gonna take away the space for the entertainers. The Stephen A. Smith, the Dracula face, Skip Bayless. Those guys don't know anything about sports. They just know how to.
Damn, Kwame even had to take a shot at Skip Bayless. God damn, Kwame. Boy, look at you. You find a way to take a shot at Skip Bayless. You don't like his Dracula face. Boy, I swear Kwame gonna make it a some type of way to send a shout out to goddammit old Skip Bayless. Lord Jesus Christ. Y'all hit that like button.
Be insulting and entertaining. So if you take that value out, that's why they always have these Kobe, LeBron, and all these debates with MJ, is because they don't know how to talk the nuances of basketball. I started to break down the game by doing the X's and O's and showing where guys should be. And I think Gilbert Arenas started trying to do it, but it was short-lived. But why don't they break down the actual game anymore?
Well, I think there's breaking down the games that we could do. I think there's breaking down the relationships, like the dynamics inside of a locker room and on a team that should be discussed and is worthy of discussion. It's like what athletes have so much experience inside of a locker room and should be able to share that in an entertaining way. And Stephen A. has no experience inside of a locker room, no real experience. And he's got stories that are just filled with cap,
But Jason Whitlock, what experience do you have up in the locker room? See, this is where the disconnect comes in with me, with you. You say that about Stephen A. Smith, but you don't have experience up in the locker room yourself. So why would you raise that as being an issue with Stephen A. when you yourself haven't been up in a locker room and gained any type of experience yourself. And then that will go over a lot of people's head. And then just because they don't like Stephen A. Smith, they be like, yeah, you right, Jason. No, you wrong, bro, because you don't have experience up in the locker room yourself. So how you gonna call Stephen A. Smith out for that when you don't have experience either?
His over exaggerated relationship with Allen Iverson, and like they were BFF and that's my dog and blah blah blah. It was a transactional relationship. In terms, Iverson was playing in Philly, Stephen A. Smith had a voice in Philly, and so Iverson dealt with.
Jason, why we got to relive that shit with Stephen A. Smith and AI? Don't nobody give a fuck about that. Okay, so didn't Stephen A. play college basketball? So then, wait a minute, hold on. Didn't Stephen A. play college basketball? So then you can't, okay, fine. You still can't even make that argument to Stephen A. like he don't know what happens up in a locker room, because Stephen A. still played college basketball until his injury came up. Oh, and unbiased observers say that's what Jason say he's lying about. So then, okay, unbiased observer. Okay, fine. He calls him out for that then, right? So can Jason Whitlock provide proof to say edgewise? That's all I want to know. Can he provide proof to say edgewise that Stephen A. Smith never played college basketball? That's it. Show the proof.
With him, but you'll never convince me. I've been to Newport News and did a whole long story on Allen Iverson and where he came from. It's very hard for me to believe that Allen Iverson and Stephen A. Smith have any sort of real relationship. They come from two different worlds. Stephen A. Smith never left the house. Stephen A. Smith ain't got an ounce of street sense. What do him and Allen Iverson?
Wait a minute, Jason. Did you and Stephen A. grow up together? I'm not talking about y'all being, doing the same thing and on the internet. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm asking a direct question. Did you grow up with Stephen A. Smith? How can you speak to something that you really honestly don't know? You don't know that, bro. You reaching. Unless you grew up with Stephen A. Smith, I'm sorry, Jason. You reaching like a motherfucker with what you saying.
Have in common other than Stephen A. had a job for a time that could benefit Allen Iverson in some way. But I think X's and O's we could do a better job of talking about, but the dynamics within a team, we could do a far better job of talking about. And the whole conversation, because to me, and I don't know where you come down on this, but to me, it's like debating Michael Jordan and LeBron James. That's a joke.
I'm tired of hearing about it. And I keep trying to say we got to stop doing it, because at some point, it's just going to make everybody fight, because whoever like MJ is going to fight with whoever like LeBron. And it's really not even an intellectual discussion at that point. If they would talk about the locker room, it would open up discussions about different nuances of the game. So you don't think it's just all about superstars scoring points. There's a lot of things in a game that has nothing to do with just the superstar scoring points. And I wish they would touch on those type of things.
Well, you're the living example of like the dynamics that went on with you and the Washington Wizards.
Now, unbiased observer, I actually agree with everything that you just said. Jason was always big brother in the media to Stephen A. And can't deal with Stephen A. on top right now. Y'all hit that like button. And that's the conclusion that I'm coming to right now with Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock is mad that he ain't in the group. So since he outside looking in on every damn thing and people is not paying attention to him, now he's feeling slighted. Now he's coming out like a scorned lover. And he coming with guns blazing. He coming with everything he got. He want to make everybody know, hey, fuck that, Stephen A is a fraud. But he could just say it and expect people to go along with that. But guess what, Jason? Stephen A. Smith can't be too much of a damn fraud. They gave the man $200 million. See, you wasn't a better step and fetcher than Stephen A. Smith now. Let's just call a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Whitlock wasn't a better step and fetcher than Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was a real step and fetcher. Yes, sir, boss. Boss, I'm trying to figure out ways to make you more money. You didn't want it bad enough, Jason. You thought just reporting on shit and giving your opinion was it. No. You got to step and fetch it for them people in order to make it. And Stephen A. was willing to step and fetch it all the way. And he's reaping the benefits of of all the work that he put in. All the step and fetch it. Come on, man. You sitting on the sidelines, Jason, mad as hell at goddamn Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith was a better step and fetcher than you. You didn't even step and fetch it at all. Shit, that's why they got rid of your ass. They like, oh, no. See, you want to have an independent thought. No, Stephen A. fit the bill for the network. Stephen A. is up to the task of performing, giving his opinion. They can control Stephen A. Smith, right? And Stephen A. Smith, you think he give a fuck about being controlled a little bit? If he's well off and they is paying him a lot of money? Hell no, Stephen A. don't mind being controlled. I don't let that shit fool me that he's still able to say what he want to say. No, Stephen A., only when he goes on this podcast, okay, he able to curse. So, you think Stephen A. gonna be a dumb son of a bitch to step outside of a line and say some shit that he knows that would get him booked? Man, Stephen A. ain't messing up his money for nobody. And I don't blame him. I don't sit up here and get mad about that. Look, Kwame Brown or whoever got outraged for that man, that's y'all outrage. I don't have to like what Stephen A. say for the majority of the part, but I ain't got no hate for that man. Shit, I don't give a fuck. Shit. I'm just here to report on it. I'm just here to report on it. I don't care. Shit. Give a damn about all that shit, man. People talk. In order for you to be relevant, people got to talk about you. You got to be interesting enough for people to want to talk about you. Y'all make sure to hit that like button for old JB2 reactions for this live stream on this Saturday afternoon. Shout out to the chat. Take a brief intermission and I'll be right back. All right, ladies. I am back. All right, let's continue.
And Michael Jordan and how that all came about, you opened my mind to like, oh man, there was a much deeper story that never was getting discussed on ESPN about what happened with Kwame Brown. And if more intelligent people or more informed people had been leading the discussion about Kwame Brown's career and the dynamics of what, hey, Michael Jordan, who was the guy from Duke that Michael Jordan wanted? The big
Elton Brand.
Elton Brand. And then how that probably motivated Michael Jordan to treat Kwame Brown in a different way. If any of that had been discussed, rather than just a guy caping up for Michael Jordan and taking the easy way out, the whole like this stuff has real impact on people. And
now you sitting up here stroking Kwame Brown. Boy, look, wait a minute. Jason Whitlock is now a caregiver for Kwame Brown. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Jason Whitlock, now you caregiving for Kwame now? Oh, goddamn. Oh, Lord Jesus. This is hilarious to me. This is funny. Sitting up here being the caregiver to Kwame Brown. Boy, you can't make this shit up right here. Jason Whitlock, you done hit a low right now. You done hit a low where you got to sit up here and be a caregiver to Kwame Brown just to get your goddamn shit off. Boy, you can't make this shit up right here.
And again, you really opened my eyes, and I'm not caping up and trying to kiss your rear end, but you like really opened my eyes like, hold on, man. This man is...
Boy, that's exactly what the fuck you doing, Jason. You... Kwame Brown, you was right. Kwame Brown, you was right the whole time. And Kwame Brown is sitting up here eating this shit on up. So when the next time you have a disagreement with Kwame gonna bring this shit right back on up on you, Jason Whitlock. The moment that y'all get into it, Kwame Brown is gonna bring this situation right back on up, Jason Whitlock, on how you was kissing his ass. Boy, you can't make this shit up.
20 years removed from that, he got kids that he's raising and dealing with, and his reputation is being played with for clicks because y'all too lazy or too afraid to discuss this in a real and authentic way. This stuff and people ask me, well, why don't you like Stephen A. Smith? And it's not that I dislike Stephen A. Smith. I dislike what he represents and what he...
That don't have nothing to do with you. So what, Jason? We all bear our own cross in life. So what on what Stephen A. Smith represents? Do what Stephen A. Smith represents really affect you in your real life and what you do? Man, look, the over-exaggeration of shit is unreal on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Because unless Stephen A. Smith is really affecting your personal life, then what the fuck do it even matter about what he stands for? So what?
He's done to the sports conversation. It has real impact and affects people.
Yeah. I think because he was one of those bitter guys that didn't get in, there's a lot of people, like, to me, you're supposed to have respect for the sport that you played. And even if you play sports, if you fell short, wherever, you still can critique the game, but you should talk about it in a way that you understand that it's hard to not make it. It's hard to be the last guy on the bench. It should be a respect level that I think that Stephen A. Smith can't appreciate because he's never had to grind and earn it. So I really think that we should reshape how we talk about basketball. And like you said, focus on the stories in the locker room. Don't make it about personal life. Stephen A. Smith, what he represent and what he did to me was only attack the black athletes. It wasn't just me.
So wait a minute. So then, Kwame Brown, you saying talk about what happened up in the locker room. Okay. So then this you getting punked in the locker room ain't locker room talk? Didn't you have this conversation with Gilbert Arenas about being punked in the locker room?
Got his phone out after he got punked in our team meeting by the veteran. How you get in the ear? Who the first nigga to talk? Who got Kwame in the locker room? Huh? Ears got his phone out. Who got all these niggas up here? All these niggas up here, right? I just did after he got punked in the locker room. First nigga to jump out the window for him. Everybody shut the fuck up. Got his phone out. Who you texting, boy? Who got punked?
When the man the veteran, you just said you're a rookie, just like you said you
Kwame, what? 30 years? So, Kwame, there ain't no problem yet? Kwame, there ain't no problem yet? No problem? It's cool. I said you got punked in the locker room. You got punked in the locker room. Phone out. Who you texting, boy? What the problem in the locker room? Who got punked in the locker room? Huh?
Hey, Gil, who got punked in the locker room?
Who got punked in the locker room? Huh? Who got punked in the locker room? Huh? I say, who got punked in the locker room? Yeah. Ears got his phone out. Who you texting, boy?
Hey, Gil, who got punked in the locker room?
There you go. See, he just said for the first time, word. Who got punked? Ears, stop. Okay. Let me go ahead and stop. Let me go ahead and stop. He just said for the first time, word. Who got punked? Ears got his phone out. Who you texting, boy? Let me go ahead and stop. Let me go ahead and stop. So, Kwame, is this where you gonna hit me with the questions? You gonna hit me right now with the questions? Not yet? Because right here, he interrupted on accident. He didn't know. He didn't know if you was ready to say something. He didn't know if you was hiding under the bed yet. We can't see you. We don't know what you're doing. So he is taking lead. Nothing. He interrupted. Nothing. We cool. Right? We cool. Okay. We cool. We cool, everybody. Hold on. And he said, my bad. He's got his phone out. Who you texting, boy? Right there. I heard your question. I heard it. We all heard it clear. Who got punked in the locker room? Who got punked in the locker room? I heard it. We all heard it, right? He said it. Who got punked in the locker room? We good. We good. You asked your question. We good. Who got punked? I heard it. I noted it. Now we got punked in the locker room. Now let's go. Hold on. I came in my third year. Right. I think you're right about that. Golden State, my first time. See, Kwame, did you see what you just did? Oh yeah, you easy to be, boy. You see what you just did? You agreed with me to shut me the fuck up so you can ask your question. Let me say it again. You just agreed with me to shut me up. You right, Gil. Who got punked in the locker room? See, you did the same thing. Ears is being accused of. Ears got his phone. Now, who you texting, boy? You didn't catch that. I caught it, bitch. You agreed with me to shut me up real quick so you can ask your question. Same thing here. We got your ass on video agreeing. Ears got his phone out. Who you texting, boy? Man like me. Who got punked? I said you got punked in the locker room, bitch. Ears got his phone
something, boy.
Damn, you agreed with me that you got punked in the locker room.
Get it, Sister C.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. Get it, Sister C. Yeah.
So now, what the problem is
Come on,
why
Sister
do I
C.
need to push play if you already agreed you got
Yeah.
not the upper room, but the locker room.
So who got punked in the locker room?
This bitch is stuck on repeat. Hey, Ears, it's not your fault. He glitching. It's YouTube. Fucking this shit up.
It is no way in sound mind that sports critics is supposed to talk all nice about the athletes. Now, yes, they could give their opinion within reason, yes. But to sit up here and really act like the sports critic is supposed to play nice, no, they don't have to play nice. It's the media. They want the bullshit drama. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Just like with basketball, football, baseball, hockey, or any type of sports, major sports, right? They don't just want to talk about the good. They want to talk about it all, the drama of it all. They want it all, bro. That's what you sign up for with the media. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The fuck, they sign up for that shit. So why is people so oblivious? You think it's always supposed to just go your goddamn way. No, that's unrealistic. Look, I could like Michael Jordan all the fuck I want, but if that motherfucker did some shit that I don't like, he could get it too. I don't give a fuck about him being the GOAT or none of that. The fuck? No one is exempt. And see, that's the problem. Motherfuckers thinking that they is exempt from being talked about. No, everybody can be talked about. It's on you if you sit up here and respond. The fuck? Do y'all think we the only motherfuckers that love drama? They love drama in sports too. The fuck? Everybody knows that they don't just want to hear about the good shit. They want to hear about the bad shit. They want to hear about the ugly shit. Come on, we all know that shit is born just hearing all about the good things about a person. You want the drama, you want the goddamn tea. The fuck? I don't know why motherfuckers be sitting up here be trying to act so oblivious to this shit. This shit been going on. Way before all these social media platforms that kicked off, it's been that way. Carlos, it's been that way. It's just the new era of media and how we able as consumers to be able to tap in and give our opinion on a more open form basis. You feel what I'm saying? Back in the day, we didn't have no voice on social media. Everybody didn't have a voice on social media. But now, everybody can have a voice on social media about the things that's going on. They was thinking that shit even then when we weren't able to do it. So I don't understand why people so surprised about the things that people say on the internet. They've been thought that way. It's just now we have an outlet to be able to let it come out to fruition And everybody can hear how you think about a situation. But don't think for a minute people just start thinking a certain way. No, they already was thinking a certain way about shit. The fuck? They was already thinking it. We didn't have a platform then. Now we do. Now you got these entertainers getting all up in their goddamn feelings. Look at Clarissa Shields. She put her lifestyle on out here, and then she get mad when people get an attitude or they got something to say about your lifestyle that you put out here. You could have kept your shit private where didn't nobody know what the fuck you had going on. But what you do, you put it on out here for the consumption of people. And guess what? With the day and age that we live in right now, everybody can chime in and give their opinion about what the fuck they see and what the fuck they hear. And regardless if you like it or not, they gonna give their opinion. To me, it ain't no different than when you're around your people in real. So why do people get all wound up about the shit that they see and hear on the internet? Because guess what? You can hear that shit in real life. Let's just be honest. You can hear that shit in real life. But people on the internet want to be all in their fake ass feelings. Oh, this person said the most outlandish things about me. Oh, this person is set up here and defamed my name. Man, fuck that. Man, fuck you. Give a fuck about you and what you say about me. You don't know me. You didn't break bread with me. Man, look. I'm not going to fall subjected to the bullshit that way. That's why I don't mind giving my opinion about certain things, but understand this, ladies and gentlemen. We are all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all go off of our own beat to our own drum. Yes, if you put it on out here, can I give my opinion to say that maybe you might have overreacted? Sure. But who's to say that maybe if I wasn't in that situation, it's possible that I could have overreacted too. So I'm not going to be that critical, right? Because we all can be subjected to the same goddamn thing. And that's why I don't fall subjected to all that other shit what motherfuckers be saying. So you basically describing 6 points. Hey man, look, hey, Carlos and Sound Man, I can't even take away him saying and feeling the way that he feel. He has a right to feel the way he want to feel. Now, regardless of what the masses say about it, right? And I get your point. That ain't the takeaway for your point. But all I'm saying is that that's still his right to feel the way he want to feel. And who am I to really take it away from him? Now, can I still say, damn, bro, okay, fine, you feel that way, but don't you think saying that about the individual is over the top? You feel what I'm saying? Like shit like that, yeah. But like, I'm not gonna attack the way he feels. I ain't Kwame Brown. I can't tell that man on how he's supposed to feel about nothing. No more than he can try to tell me on how to feel about whatever it is that I'm passionate about. It goes both ways. So I have to be mindful of that, though, Carlos, is all I'm saying. Yeah, you can have your opinion, but as long as people's opinion don't override what you truly feel that's actually true. People only going to have an opinion about what you put out. That still don't mean that they know. And them the people that I don't like that sit up and act like they know. You don't know unless you broke bread with the individual. You didn't break bread with the individual, so how do you really know? Like, come on, man. I deal with realness. I don't deal with all that phony shit. I didn't break bread with none of these people that we talk about in the entertainment field. Never did. Never met their family. None of that. So I'm not so willing to jump out the window on certain things that even be said on the internet. I play it by ear. But that's just me, right? That's me. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Now, I got another video. I got another live stream that I'm going to set up. But I ain't going to say nothing. Carlos, I think you know the live stream that I'm going to put on out there, right? And it's going to be in a good light for good old Dr. Umar Johnson. That's the only clue that I'm going to give y'all. The only way that y'all will fully know is if you go on my community wall, right? And shout out to Leonard Honor for putting out the content. And I'm most definitely going to go over that, okay? I'm going over that, all right? Because maybe Dr. Umar is serious. Who knows? Regardless of what the people say about him, I don't care about that. Exactly. No, it's going to be here. No, I'm going to put it right here on the JB2 reaction. I ain't going to be on the Johnny Blaze channel for a minute, man. I want to do my content the way I know I want to do my content. I want to stay right here at the JB2 reaction. I when I feel like going over there to the OG channel, I'll go over there. But like, it ain't no necessity to me to go over there. Yeah, just for right now, EV. You know what I'm saying? Just for right now. You know, look, hey, EV, that fuck shit ain't going no damn where, and I know that already. It's going to stay right there where it is. Hey, EV, my name is being talked about right now as we speak. Right now, my name is in a title. So you know, look, EV, you know I know how to ruffle people's feathers around here, okay? People get mad when I speak on them. They get in their goddamn feelings and oh, hey, Johnny Glaze, donuts, and all that old goofy shit. Man, bye. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You giving that channel a chance to be able to get monetized shit. I don't give a fuck. Talk about old Johnny Blaze. I done heard it all, seen it all that shit, right? So I don't give a fuck. Do your thing. I talked about you, so shit, you got every right to speak on me. But guess what? It ain't gonna be no back and forth. Yeah, ain't gonna be no back and forth. I'd have been on Summer Jam's screen in past though, EV. So that shit don't fascinate me. That shit don't fascinate me, man. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, if they looking for a back and forth, it's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen. But guess what though, Carlos? I need the traction to go on over there to the Johnny Blaze 2 channel. So I ain't tripping about that. He gonna help me get that channel monetized just talking about me. And I would never mention his name again. His likeness would never go on a thumbnail. His name would never go in a title. But guess what? He gonna be so fucked up about what I said for a whole week. He gonna be fucked up about what I said for a whole week. Like, I'm gonna still respond to it. Nigga, knock yourself the fuck out, bro. Knock yourself out, I swear. Hey, knock yourself out. Talk about old Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze gonna be talking about some other shit while you sitting up here butthurt about what the fuck I said 2 weeks ago and shit. You still gonna be trying to, oh, donut. You a heterosexual man and you sitting up here talking about some donuts. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not taking none of that shit seriously. Kick rocks. Man, kick rocks, man. Have at it, bro. Have at it, bro. I don't care. See, my numbers ain't I don't predicate myself on having to have the big numbers and all this and that, because whoever pick up on what I'm putting down, they gon' stick around. The ones that ain't picking up on what I'm putting down, they gonna drop it on the ground and move around. Give a damn about that? Shit. Man, I'm laughing at you people because y'all so caught up on the wrong thing. Y'all thinking that y'all got a real beef with me. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Shit. That's what's really funny, that you got to still use my name to have people to come up in there. Well, good for you. All right? Good for you. I ain't mad. But Johnny Blaze is going to stay over here where he at right now and do his content the way he do it. Over here. Out the way. But anyway, salute to the chat. I'm going to take me a 3-hour break away from here, and then I'm going to bring y'all some more content. I'm going to have some more content for later. This deserves its separate live stream in itself. So salute to the chat. Johnny Blaze will see y'all in 3 hours. I'll be on back. You can bet that. I'll be on back. Salute to the chat. Appreciate y'all pulling up on the show. Johnny JB2 Reactions is out.